Resistance and Liberation, a new tactical first-person shooter set in, of course, World War II. I mean, every game is going for World War II at the moment, but I think this game is slightly different. This is running on the Unreal Engine 4, and the graphics you're seeing right now aren't the final product, and a lot of things are subject to change. This game will focus on the Western Front and is based on a previous mod titled the same, which is of course Resistance and Liberation. This was on the Source engine. It was hugely fun and I love messing about and talking to randomers. This is going to be exactly the same. You can use VoIP, which is essentially proximity chat. The game will feature 16 versus 16 players, and they are focusing more on smaller arms combat, which for me is much better, as there are a lot of games in the genre at the moment focusing on the large scale gameplay. You see that with obviously Battlefield 5, Postscriptum. So games like that, you've seen a lot of large scale gameplay, but this is more smaller. This could therefore be a lot better for competitive play. However, I would like to see in the future maps that have a bigger player count, but I think that is all down to us. So make sure you get behind this game, because if more players start playing it, this then in turn will increase the size of the maps, because at the moment they have scaled the maps down for a small community. This game is also free to play, so I can't see why you would not play it. The microtransactions have not been finalised, but I want to say to the developers, don't tie weapons and abilities behind a paywall. Focus on purely cosmetics, making very interesting camos that are authentic and cool. That way people will invest in your game. I want to see specialist uniforms, sort of like maybe the Royal Commandos or paratroopers, stuff like that, that are interesting for both the Allies and the Axis forces. This game is slated for a Q4 2018 release, however it may take a little longer. This is because the game development team is purely doing this out of love for making games. They also have other jobs, but at the moment they need 3D designers, so if you have any understanding of the Unreal Engine 4, make sure to contact them via their website, which is in the description. The footage that you are seeing is the latest video on their channel, but they did actually do a Twitch stream yesterday, which was a closed playtest. I'm hoping that soon they will actually do a public playtest. I'll try contact the developers and make sure that I can get an invitation to that when that does start, as I do want to cover this game more on this channel. The reload animations at the moment look very good and realistic. The actual recoil on the weapons is a nice balance. It's on the high side, especially for the Thompson, which is going to separate the noobs from the experienced players, which in my opinion is good. I think there needs to be more call-outs though. I think I heard one that said we lost the area, but I want to hear maybe some really loud ones screaming stuff like "Enemy spotted." Hopefully this is something that they are working on. If not, that would be a great addition. Vehicles. Now, I know they are considering this, but I think this should be definitely implemented. Maybe one tank, because the maps aren't that big, and maybe a transport vehicle. This would really change the meta of the game, making it more slow-paced and tense, as when you see a Tiger tank, for instance, that's really going to stop players running into the open ground, which I did see a lot. Well, that definitely happened a lot from the footage that I just saw. You could maybe award tanks to players that have accumulated, say, 1,000 points for capturing objectives. That way you are awarding players for playing the objective and team play. Destruction. Now, as I'm from the Battlefield community, one thing that is a staple of the franchise now is destructible environments. This is possible on the Unreal Engine 4, as I have seen this in action on Blue Drake's game, and would really get players from the Battlefield community to try out your game. This is obviously all up to you, as time restrictions may stop this from being a reality. One big concern I have for this game is whether this game will actually go ahead, as a lot of indie games stop production because there just isn't enough demand. So I ask everyone here to go check out the links in the description, learn more about the game, as so far what I've seen, it looks great and also sounds very impressive. The player movement also looks very clunky at the moment, but I do like the fact that it's slower, but when looking at other players' movement, it does look very, well, extremely robotic, and I hope you guys look into that. And obviously, I assume they are working on this because this is just a closed alpha The lack of HUD is also extremely welcome. Something I did notice was the sniper scopes. That does look a tad overboard. Maybe make that black area a little bit bigger, or if you're going to do it, make it maybe add, say, depth of field around it, as the black area does take away from the gameplay. I think one thing that would be good is the ability to revive players and make the respawn timer longer. That way the game would be slower paced. I know you're going for a realistic, authentic tactical shooter, but at the moment, in some respects, it is a little too fast-paced for me, and reminds me of maybe Call of Duty 2 and Battalion 1944, a game that didn't end up doing very well because it was too similar to games like that. I think one big tip for the developers would be to find what direction you're going for and then stick with it. So if you're going for a tactical shooter, then really push that. But overall, I'm super excited for this game, and I hope you guys are too, so make sure to check all the links in the description and really support this game, as it's going to be free to play, so there's no real reason why you wouldn't go check it out. If you're new here and want to see more coverage of this game, let me know in the comments down below. Also, I'm very sorry for not uploading much recently, but I promise a better schedule has been drawn up. And I will hopefully have 2 videos a week, and more if, of course, more news is released for games like Battlefield 5. But until next time, have a good one.
We've lost an area! Area secure! We've lost an area!
Fuck me.
Stay low and hold it. Let the other guys care about the other objective.
Oh no, Coco!
Why did it peek? Such a waste of life. GG.